I think more men should get lobotomized. And that is the platform that I'm running on. Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I like to watch movies. Guys, dating is tough, and yet all of us want love. Some of us even love, and dare I say it, I am one of those people. As a woman who is recently engaged, I know, thank you very much, I'm starting to do a lot of wedding planning now, and every time I do it, I start crying. I start crying because I'm so happy and I'm still in shock, and it's been like 2.5 months, and so I think I'm still allowed to cry. I think I'm a big fan of love because I really enjoy caring about someone and having someone care about me. Like, no matter how I feel, I can be an absolute vulnerable, crazy little creature and yet still feel deeply human at the end of the day. And I really love that feeling, and I love caring about someone and having them feel like completely human too. Because believe it or not, being alive is kind of amazing. But I guess not all of us share the same vision of love, and that's totally okay. But there are some people who are just like deeply afraid of rejection and don't know how to handle it in a healthy way. And so they feel like they need absolute control over their partners. And when you take out that human factor, well, things can get pretty bad. It almost sounds like this would be an interesting horror movie. Companion is the directorial debut of Drew Hancock. Congratulations. And in this sci-fi horror comedy, we are following a AI dating robot named Iris as she comes to the realization that her boyfriend Josh is an incel. Guys, I will not lie to you, this movie really got me. I wasn't expecting to expect what I got. And like, honestly, we shouldn't have been surprised. This movie was backed by Boulder Light, the same production company behind Zach Krager's Barbarian. Remember her? She was the blueprint. But they wanted another horror hit. And while there are still like a ton of AI movies already out there, like Afraid, which is spelled like AI Afraid, which is just so funny to me. There's also that one Megan Fox movie where she's like an AI nanny turned into an absolute fiend. But none of these movies have companion nachos. As I mentioned earlier, this is Drew Hancock's first feature film. Like, the man doesn't even have a Wikipedia page yet. So this is a big deal for him. And I'm excited for him to get that Wikipedia page, because that's how you know you are real to the pop culture. Remember when we all had to stop talking about Mu Dang because she predicted that Trump was going to be president, and then he became the president? Anyway, I will say I'm still learning about Hancock and like his taste and his influences, but I did see a thing he did for IndieWire, and I will say I agree with everything he's presenting to the public. It's perfectly controversial because of how mainstream it is, and yet I'm like, ooh, yes. Please be an M. Night Shyamalan fan. I love it. I think everyone should love this man. Movies are bad, yes, but they are fun. And my favorite thing about these like letterbox videos or like the Criterion Closet is when someone's like, the art behind this movie is revolutionary and changed my perspective on life. And then the next person is like, I love the Jackie Chan box set. And I love the range of that because, you know, it's a spectrum, just like Girlhood. It's like you need to have high art and appreciate it, but you also have to have your like absolute garbage can trash. Sometimes you're a raccoon and sometimes you are like a prestigious raccoon. But why is Companion good? I keep talking about it, but like, why does it itch this part of my brain that just like feels so good? You see, while yes, this is a movie with some horrific elements in it, this is truly a comedy of errors. There is nothing I love more than a tiny misdirect that gets you like, oh, and it's like not egg on the face, we got you kind of situation. It's just like you're a little gooped and gagged. You're just like, oh, I did not see that coming. And like, it just keeps building and building and building on top of each other. It's like a hat on a hat on a hat, turn it over, it's a hat. It's like cinema. It's art. It's great art. It's like why I like Everything Everywhere All at Once so much is that there's just like this level of absurdity that just keeps building and building and building, and you're just like, how crazy can we get? And then at the end of the day, it's like, generational trauma. And this movie, what is it? It's just like women exercising their rights while we still have them. Like, yes, Iris, learn about your autonomy and accidentally kill 2 men. Again, girlhood is a spectrum. And while no, we don't support murder, I will say that she's totally not at fault for at least one of these deaths. The second one's debatable, but dare I say defendable. But the real villain of the story is Josh. I hate Josh. Actually, I don't even hate him. I feel like a disdain towards him because hate is a bad word and it's not strong enough to encapsulate all my feelings of rage. Also, I'm gonna start a hall of infamy for all the men in movies that I despise. And Josh will be the first man in this long dark hallway with one picture and one single flickering light. He will also be in one of my levels of purgatory. I can just feel it. And real quick, before anyone's like, Alyssa, you're being a little hard on these men. Like, what have they done wrong? I need to tell you that I have experienced men like Josh in my life. life. Some of these men I continue to date and I look back with deep shame, but you know, you live and you laugh and you learn. For example, one of these terrible men that I was on and off with for 2 years left me at a grocery store without my knowledge, and I just had to wait for him because I was a college kid who had no way back to the city and didn't have that much money to get an Uber to go to the bus stop so I could buy my bus ticket to go back to my dorm. And I went back to him. I was a fucking idiot, but you know what? Peaks and valleys. That's all life is. But I've experienced the worst of the worst and the highs of the highs. So when I see a certain kind of man with this level of buffoonery in the wild, I immediately clock it and I'm just like, got it. You're on my shit list. And that is Josh. Despite my absolute rage towards Josh in this movie, it's everything that I need it to be. I love the color palette. I love the acting. I love how much I hate Josh. Also, Companion is a 97-minute movie. Bring it back. It's tight, not a moment's wasted. Is there a little bit of dilly-dallying in it? Yes. It's forgivable though, because it just keeps building and building until we get to the ultimate pinnacle of the end, and I am entertained, I'm locked in. I'm like, yes, this is why I go to the movies. And sometimes that's all you need. If I want existentialism in my entertainment, I will continue watching Severance at home. But this movie has some pretty good commentary without bashing you over the head with it, and it's perfectly complex for me to go, yeah, it is kind of messed up to fully control another person. Sure, there are times where it's pay attention to the thing I'm setting up because it might come back. Who knows? And you know what? Sure, whatever. I don't care because at least I get to see people absolutely get wrecked. So let's talk about these humans and their companion and how things go so wrong, and yet it all feels so right. Okay, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the plot, we need to establish our characters. The first character we have is Iris, played by Sophie Thatcher, last seen in Heretic. One thing you need to know about Iris, she loves love. It's almost like she's programmed to feel that way. Who is she in love with? Josh. Josh is played by Jack Quaid, i.e. Meg Ryan's son, one of our favorite Nepo babies. Also, sometimes I still think about that New York Mag cover. That graphic designer really popped off. What I really like about Jack Quaid is that he's always playing a shy boy in everything he's in. But in the case of this movie, it is not a good thing. There's a time and a place to be a shy boy, and it should never be played as the victim card. Try and swipe, and it will get declined. The next couple we have is Eli and Patrick, played by Harvey Guillon and Lucas Gage. Lucas Gage, we last saw him in Smile 2, but with a lot less face. And then there is Kat, played by Megan Seri, and she is dating a very rich guy who's also Russian, and his name is Sergey. So now that we know our cast of characters, let's get into the plot. Also, currently drinking the Francis Ford Coppola Director's Cut wine from 2020. It's delicious. Remember when he sold a majority of his wine company to make Megalopolis? That's dedication. So we open in a grocery store with Iris, and there's some voiceover of her going that there's been 2 moments in her life when she has been the happiest. The first is when she met Josh. And guys, it is a real meet cute moment. He sees her, he's smitten, he goes to pick up an orange, all the oranges fall, and they laugh about it. They're like, oh my God, the oranges. And I'm like, yes. Fall in love while promoting vitamin C and fighting scurvy. I love it. And then she says that the second time that she felt the happiest is when she killed him. Iconic. So what led to this murderous moment? I guess we gotta do a flashback. Josh tells Iris to wake up, and we are in a car headed to a weekend getaway in a remote location. One of Josh's friends, Kat, is dating this rich guy named Sergey and has invited Eli, Patrick, and Josh to come out and spend the weekend with her. She did not invite Iris because she does not like Iris. The reasoning for this is that Kat feels replaceable, and that is why she doesn't like her. She's being a real Ariana Grande, if you ask me. Guys, don't come at me for saying that, please. As Josh and Iris are walking up to the house, Iris is understandably feeling anxious. And I get it. She is just a girl after all. And Josh is like, come on, what's going on? You can't lie to me. Just start smiling and stop being so mopey. Excuse me, sir. And who are you? We spend the next few minutes meeting everybody in the mansion. And guys, this place is really nice. It has some nice views of the lake. It has really big guest rooms. I'm also currently having a curtain crisis in my life. All the curtains in my house, I'm just upset about them. And so I really admire how all the curtains look in this house. At dinner, Patrick is sharing the meet cute story about how he met Eli at a Halloween party, and it is real cute. But then Iris chimes in and she's like, I know how you feel because I have the same connection with Josh. And everyone's like, no one asked. They're all dancing and having a good time, and then we get a jump scare of Josh climaxing. I need a minute. And then he rolls off of Iris, turns his back towards her, and he's like, go to sleep, Iris. We're like maybe 15 minutes into this movie, and I already need Josh to like go away. He gives the same energy as Christian from Midsommar, especially in that moment where he like forgot Danny's birthday, and so he's trying to light the candle to this cupcake, but it just won't light, and it's like the most awkward 2 minutes I've ever seen in movie history, and I was like, please make it end. In the morning, Iris is waiting for Josh to get ready to go to the lake because he's like, hey, we should go to the lake this morning and be like a couple and do things like that and kiss. But he is like not feeling it anymore, despite he being the one who pitched the idea. He says he just wants to stay back and shower. Iris is like, okay, I could stay with you if you want. But he's like, no, I just want to be a guy doing guy things, you know, the way dudes do. And that she should go and enjoy the nature time by herself. At the lake, Iris is doing some grounding work, but then she finds a knife in her pocket. How did that get there? Sergey then shows up and is like, hey, can you rub some sunscreen on my back and my shoulders? And Iris does because she is nice. And then he moans, oh, jail. Immediate jail. And you might be saying, you're jumping to conclusions. Maybe it was just like an instinctual thing. He's not being creepy. Okay, so then why does Sergey immediately try to sexually assault her? But no. Kat said it was okay. So it's okay, right? Wrong. Back at the house, the gang is chatting over mimosas when Iris walks in with her JBL speaker playing some Fetty Wap and has just blood all over her. The gang starts freaking out, obviously. And when they're like, Iris, what happened? She's like, oh, let me tell you. She was fighting back, pushed Sergey off of her, and he's like, no, and just starts choking her out. So with like the last little bit of breath she had, she goes, okay, got it, I'm gonna defend myself, and stabs him in the neck. Honestly, good for her. But everyone is like not thriving right now. And so Josh goes, Iris, go to sleep. And this is the first time we get to see that Iris is actually a robot. Patrick helps tie Iris to a chair. And Josh is like, hey, I'm just gonna say bye to her real quick before we like shut her down and send her back to the company because these robots are like not supposed to be violent. Josh tells Iris to wake up and she's stressed out. She's like, what's going on? Where am I? What's happening? And Josh is like, there's no easy way to say this. You're a robot and you have the skin of a killer, Bella. Iris is understandably confused. She's like, okay, but I'm real. I have real memories. Remember how we met? Josh is like, oh yeah, that? Yeah, no. That was programmed into you. It's not a real memory. I just chose that meet cute moment from a list of drop downs when I purchased you. Oh, sorry, didn't purchase. He's renting her because I'm lonely and I can't get laid and I want someone who can't say no to me. So, Josh is an incel. And the worst part is that like his apartment fits the role. Like we don't get to see the main bedroom, so we don't know if there's just a mattress on the floor, no bed frame, the ultimate red flag. But we do get to see the living room and there is not a rug in sight. I will say that is another warning sign to me. Iris is heartbroken. She also knows the end is near and like this is like her last hurrah. Josh gets called into the other room by Kat and she's like, what are you doing? Why are you saying goodbye to the robot? This wasn't a part of the plan. What plan? What do you mean the plan? While they're chit-chatting in the other room, Iris sees a knife that she dropped when she came back into the house, and she's like, got it. She knocks over her chair, shimmies over to it, and starts sawing away at the rope. When Josh comes back into the room, Iris breaks out of her restraints, punches him in the throat, takes his phone, and runs out of there. Now Iris is on the loose, and Josh and Kat are like, the plan. So they bring Eli, Patrick, and us up to speed on what's going on. Turns out that they jailbroke Iris and made her violent. Because Kat was mad that her shitty boyfriend, who has a wife, is shitty to her. And he also has $12 million in a vault and they want that money. So Josh and Kat are willing to split the money 3 ways. And Eli's like, no, 4. Because of Patrick. And Kat's like, come on, let's be real. Patrick is like, Eli, what's going on? Patrick, go to sleep. He's a robot. Eli eventually agrees to like split the money 3 ways, but he's pissed about it. But he's like, okay, we got this. He powers Patrick back up and then he takes the gun from the vault and they're like, well, we don't need a gun. It's totally fine. And he's like, doesn't she have your phone, Josh, and know everything about you? I'm taking the gun. Back with Iris, she opens Josh's phone and she's looking at the settings and like messing around with all the things, changing her eye color, changing her voice. And then she sees a little button about her intelligence and it's set at 40%. And she's like, interesting. And she's like, I'm just gonna 100% this. While tracking back to the house with her new plan to get Josh's car and like drive back to the city, she hears Patrick and Eli coming up and she's like, I'm gonna hide. While she's listening to them talk, it turns out that Patrick is self-aware and he knows that he's a robot. But guys, their love knows no boundaries. They are here, they are queer, and gosh darn it, Dad, he's in love with a robot. But then Iris kills the good vibes by accidentally like stepping on a twig, and Eli shoots the gun at her.
These gays, they're trying to murder me.
There's a full-on chase. Eli tackles Iris down a hill. The gun is loose. Iris dives for it. Eli drags her back. They're crawling in the dirt, trying to grab at the gun. Iris grabs it. Eli tries to pull it away. Bang! Then we start to see blood stain Eli's shirt. Dead. R.I.P. Eli. You actually will be missed. The worst part about all of this is that Patrick saw everything happen. Iris apologizes for killing his lover, and then like she's get back on her mission, guys. She's gotta go. And at this point, I'm like fully on Big Tech's side. Like, why not? Maybe the robot should have autonomy. Deus Ex Machina? More like Deus Ex these nuts. I'm gonna cut that. I don't like that joke anymore. Iris gets back to the car just as like Josh sees her and is like chasing her down. And the car is voice activated, which is too much for me. I am so sorry, but no thank you. So she's trying to change her voice to match Josh's and like get the car to go. And the whole time Josh is like, hey, can you get out of the car, please? And as she's leaving, she accidentally like runs over his foot, and she also like hurt his hand in the process. Again, good for her. Josh runs inside and finds Sergey's phone and reports his car stolen, which brings the car to a screeching halt. Josh then calls his phone, and Iris picks up, and he's like, hey, beep boop, so sorry about all of this. You should come back. I'll finally treat you with the respect that you deserve. And Iris is like, no. Thank God. So now the only way for Iris to get out of the car is to kick the window out. And as she's doing this, a cop sees her and he's like, what the heck is going on? Iris thinks fast because she's got that intelligence now. And she creates a language barrier because, like, remember, she can't tell a lie. The cop is like, okay, cool. You're covered in blood. There's also a knife in your car. Put your hands up. But then Patrick is pulling up. Now, what's going on here? Well, it turns out Josh was being a giant piss baby and it was like, okay, I get Patrick is mourning the loss of his lover, but I'm going to reboot him, make him love match with me, jailbreak him, set his aggression to 100, and tell him to go chase down Iris. We love to see love being weaponized. So now there's 2 killer robots on the loose. This is the future that Meta wanted. And while Iris doesn't kill a cop, Patrick does say ACAB and punches the cop to death. Patrick brings Iris back to the house in the cop's car, and he also has the cop in the trunk. And Josh and Kat are like, oh, things are going a bit haywire. Kat is at her limit. She's like, I'm just gonna take my money and go. Like, this is a lot. And Josh is pissed off by this. He's like, this always happens to me. Women always leave me to clean up the mess that they made. And Kat's like, dude, this is your bed that you've made. Like, now you have to lay in it. Then Josh says, hey, Patrick, make Kat stay. And so what does Patrick do? He stabs Kat. Kat knows that this is a fatal stab wound and is like, okay, damn, I was just trying to leave. And then dies. R.I.P. Kat. A bad person, not a girl's girl, but like, shitty for her to die at the hands of Josh. When Iris boots back up, Josh is sitting across the table and Patrick has made them a delicious looking meal. Also, this entire sequence reminded me of the movie Fresh, you know, the movie that stars the Oscar-nominated Best Actor, Sebastian Stan, and her favorite semi-it girl, Daisy Edgar-Jones. If you know, you know. Josh has called the companion like AI company and he's like, come get your defaulty robot, please. She's scary. And then tells Iris that women like her and Kat are the problem for special boys like him. Iris is like, dude, I just wanted to live. But you are a sad, bitter, weak-ass man with a below-average sized penis who can't take any responsibility for his actions and has to make women feel less than so that way you can feel like a man. Oh, you better believe Josh is pissed. And so what does he do? He brings her intelligence all the way down to 0, then sets her on fire, and then has her shoot herself in the head. And you know what, Josh? She's a rental. Like, you're not gonna get your deposit back. You know what? No. He deserves to lose his deposit. Like, fuck him. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. When the company comes to get Iris, Josh is like, it was so wild. Like, she was so violent. I was scared. And then Patrick, who's currently dressed like the cop that he murdered, is like, yeah. And then she shoots herself in the head, which is crazy. And the technician is like, whoa, that's crazy. That shouldn't have happened. Also, Mr. Policeman, why do you look so familiar? Anyway, I'll let you know what happens when legal scrubs through all the footage and we'll see what happens. All right, bye. Josh is like, wait, what do you mean the footage? Her brain is gone. Like, there is no footage, right? And the technician's like, no, silly goose. All of her data is stored in her chest. So you're telling me that Josh is a fucking idiot who didn't even, 1, do a quick Google search to see where all the like data was being stored at in his robot girlfriend. And then 2, didn't read the contract to find out that he's constantly being recorded at all hours of the day. Got it. And you know what the funny part about all of this is? Is that the technicians know that Josh is absolutely fucked. When the rookie technician asks why people treat these robots so poorly, the main technician is like, you know what? The world's a messed up place, man. Most people just want to feel like they have control over another person. Put that in the context of our modern world and how we're blaming DEI programs for like deadly aircraft collisions. I don't even want to get into it. But they plug Iris into reboot and start driving away when Patrick steps in front of the car. And the technician's like, oh, that's one of our older models. Then Patrick the technician, the rookie technician's like, oh, I gotta go, and starts running through the woods. Patrick has to chase him down. He's out of bullets, so he starts choking him out. There's so much choking in this movie. When Iris boots back up, she's like, I gotta help out people. People who need people. I am people, let's go. But she's restored to her factory setting, so she can't hurt anybody. So what is a girl gonna do? Iris is like, hey, Patrick, riddle me this. There are those who seek me a lifetime, but we've never met. And those I kiss, but who trample me beneath ungrateful feet. What am I? Patrick is like, oh, the answer's love. And I love Josh. No, I love Eli. Eli, dead. Eli's dead. And I love him. Let me just Romeo and Juliet myself real quick. And you know what, Patrick? Dead. R.I.P. When will Lucas Gage stop dying in movies? The rookie tech thanks Iris for literally saving his life, and he's like, in reward, I'm going to give you like full autonomy. That's a feminist if I've ever seen one. Iris comes back inside to like mess around with Josh, but she unfortunately in a way still loves him. And so what does Josh do in response? Oh, he beats the absolute shit out of her. And as he is choking her to death to kill her again, Iris grabs the electric automatic corkscrew from the ground and lobotomizes Josh. We love to see it. And with a whole new life waiting for her, Iris puts on a leather jacket and she gets in a very nice vintage red Mustang and drives off into the sunrise. The Companion. Guys, I really like this movie. I don't know what to tell you. I was really nervous in the beginning because the first act was a bit slow and it was like doing a lot of setup and like, these are the people. But once everything is established, the ball really gets rolling and I'm fully on board. There was a lot of things I didn't expect and the final death really had me cheering in my seat. Never have I ever been so happy to see a lobotomy. I think more men should get lobotomized. And that's the platform that I'm running on. And I'm just like so happy that this movie had like a really good final act. That's like all I'm asking for from movies right now. The Brutalist, I'm so sorry. Like your ending really leaves me confused and dissatisfied. And yeah, I am sure it will win Best Picture, but also Emilia Perez still exists. More on the Oscar Best Picture race later this month, so stay tuned. But I really do love the world building of this and how it was executed, because like you wouldn't be over explaining this world to the people who already live inside it. Overall, I'm gonna give Companion a B+. I don't think it was revolutionary, but it was still very exciting and very new, and I think it's ushering in this like new era of horror. I won't say it's a pillar in like the new horror genre to come, but I think it's like a little teaser of what's expected. But if you have any thoughts on this movie on the breakdown, let me know in the comments below. As always, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's free and it really helps me out major. Next week, we'll be talking about Hard Eyes, and I love a holiday-based slasher movie. But until then, I will see you later. Bye.